Hello YouTubers, this is Cessnaace, back again with another video cassette ads video, this time concentrating on the Betamax format and with Disney releases exclusively. To start off with, The Black Hole. Now, this could have turned out to be a much better film than it actually turned out being, had they ditched the concept of the cutesy robots, who I believe were voiced by Roddy McDowall and Slim Pickens. That's what they sound like anyway. Uncredited. This has a strong cast though. Maximilian Schell, Anthony Perkins, Robert Forster, Joseph Bottoms, Yvette Mimieux, Ernest Borgnine, and it has a really amazing and dark production design. Now, we also have this on VHS from Anchor Bay, that's letterboxed, and on Laserdisc. This is Walt Disney Home Video Release 11 BS. Now, as I believe I've mentioned numerous times before, or at least a few times, I much prefer this style of cover design that Disney was using back then to the plain old generic type of design that all of the studios are using now, including Disney. The title stands out, the Disney logo stands out, and the photo stands out. And it's very, like I said, very clean looking design. This is a film that we have on VHS. I've never watched it because I know how it ends, and I know it's depressing. I'll get around to it eventually. This does have a good cast, including Tommy Kirk, who was in a lot of Disney films back then, and directed by Robert Stevenson, who directed a boatload of films for or at Disney. The cast includes Dorothy McGuire, Fess Parker, Chuck Connors, Beverly Washburn. This is Walt Disney Home Video Release 37 BS. Okay, this is a film that's close to my heart, near and dear to me, because I saw it when it first came out theatrically, I believe in 1969. Anyway, I was 11. I went with a friend and his family in their Volkswagen microbus. 11 years old. Now, years later, I saw this at university when they booked the then complete series of 4 films and got in for $1 to see all 4. We also have this on VHS and DVD and CED and I think Laserdisc, but I'm not totally sure on that one. Now, Dean Jones plays the main protagonist, and his female sidekick and love interest is played by Michelle Lee. His male sidekick is played by Buddy Hackett, who was in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. He had a prominent role in that film. I know I mentioned that film a lot, but I really like that film. I wish he had been in more films. This is Walt Disney Home Video Release 12 BS. Herbie Rides Again. Now, we have this on VHS and DVD, but I've never seen this cover photo before on any release or on a poster or anything. Now, there was probably a corresponding VHS release that was out at the time this came out, but I've never seen it. So when I saw this cover, it was new to me. Of course, Herbie Rides Again is referenced in the Monty Python theatrical trailer for Monty Python and the Holy Grail. They mention Herbie Rides Again. Now, in this film, the car Herbie is owned by the Helen Hayes character, who last name is Steinmetz, Buddy Hackett's character's last name was Steinmetz. I believe she played his grandmother. They originally had intended it to be his grandfather, and they had signed Walter Brennan. But he either took ill or died before they could start filming, so they had to cast Helen Hayes instead. This is Walt Disney Home Video Release 42B. Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo, again on VHS and DVD. Not a bad sequel. Obviously that's the Eiffel Tower, which is not in Monte Carlo. Dean Jones is back as the owner of Herbie, and instead of Buddy Hackett being his sidekick, Don Knotts is. Don Knotts made a lot of films at Disney. Directed by Vincent McEvedy, who directed quite a number of films for Disney, and I've also seen his name in the credits for various episodes of the original Star Trek series and Hogan's Heroes. So he was a very prolific director. This is Walt Disney Home Video Release 100B. Now, my wife really likes this film, and for the life of me, I don't know why. Herbie Goes Bananas. I think it's this scene that's pictured on the cover that is the one she likes the most. Herbie Goes Bananas. A rather weak entry in the series, and for the longest time, the final entry in the series. This is release 94 BS. One thing you could say about Disney is that they really supported the Betamax format long after the other studios had given up on it. Of course, towards the end, you had to mail order their titles, because you couldn't find them in stores, but they really supported the format. They also were big supporters of the Laserdisc format. So I like Disney on both of those counts. And yes, Herbie Fully Loaded, we have that on DVD. We saw it as a family in the theater. Okay, this release doesn't say Disney anywhere on it, but it is a Disney release, and there are two clues pointing in that direction. This is Running Brave with Robbie Benson. I've never seen this film. First up, the first clue is down at the bottom in small print. I mean, you'll never make it out with my camera. But it says distributed by WD-TNT Company. Now I know from other releases that that stands for Walt Disney Telecommunications, not Theatrical Company. It also has the same address for that entity as their main distribution arm, Buena Vista, Burbank, California 91521. The other clue is the catalog number, which is a Disney catalog number, and of course my camera is not going to cooperate. 183BS. But nowhere does it say Disney. Okay. The Shaggy Dog with Fred MacMurray. He made a lot of films at Disney. This is release 43BS. Fred MacMurray, Gene Hagen, Tommy Kirk, Annette Funicello, who was one of the original Mouseketeers, of course. Okay, All are familiar with the original Absent-Minded Professor, which starred Fred MacMurray. This is its sequel, which also starred Fred MacMurray, Son of Flubber. This is release 211BS, directed by Robert Stevenson. Also includes Tommy Kirk and Ed Wynn, who was in a number of Disney films, including Mary Poppins. And Demarest. He was in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. A Mad World Crazy. Okay. Splash. This was released by the Disney subsidiary label Touchstone Home Video. I do rather like the back cover of this one. This is release 213BS from Touchstone Home Video. Sleeping Beauty. They, of course, have abandoned at this juncture the clean look that I preferred, but it's okay. We also have this on VHS and DVD. We might have it on Laserdisc, I'm not sure, because we have a lot of Disney films on Laserdisc. Who can keep track of them all? Well, if you go to the Laserdisc database and look up Cessnaace, you can see my collection and you'll know what I have. Okay, I believe this was filmed in England. It has a strong British cast, The Sword and the Rose. And when this film was made, England, as well as a lot of European countries, were still locking funds in their countries that were made by American studios. This has to do with the end of the Second World War, and they were trying to keep money in their countries, so the only way Disney could get their money was to produce films in England. That's why MGM wound up buying one of the studios there at one point. This stars Richard Todd, Glynis Johns, who was in Mary Poppins, James Robertson Justice, and directed by Ken Anakin, who not only directed other films for Disney, but he directed a lot of films in England and elsewhere in Europe. Did I show that? I don't remember. This is release 266B. Okay, this is The Sword in the Stone. We obviously have this one on VHS and DVD. Okay. This one is a title that was not familiar to me, but in one of these cases, and I'm not going to bother looking for it now, there is a flyer where you could get this video for just $9.99 or $9.95, whatever it was, with the purchase of any other title listed in that flyer, or on that flyer, or whatever. The Walt Disney Comedy and Magic Review. New. This is obviously clips from several of their animated and live action productions. Running time is only 30 minutes. Release 318B. Walt Disney Christmas. I like how on their compilation videos for their shorts they list the shorts that are included. This is release 92 BS. Okay, this is a series I had never heard of before, but it was produced by Barry Levinson. Stories and Fables, Volume 5. Haunted Pastures and Riches or Happiness. Each episode runs 25 minutes. Total running time is 50. Makes sense. And it states on the back that it was filmed around the world, on location. On location, around the world. Okay, this is Disney's Best of 1931 to 1948. Volume 5. And I didn't pull into it. But they do list all of the cartoons that are on here. And when they came out, see, The Ugly Duckling, winner, cartoon short subject, 1939. Mickey's Orphans, nominee, cartoon short subject, 31-32. Flowers and Trees, winner, cartoon short subject, 31-32. Truant Officer Donald, nominee, cartoon short subject, 1941. Mickey and the Seal, nominee, cartoon short subject, 1948. Release 167 BS. The name of this series is Mickey, Mouse, and Donald Duck Cartoon Collections, and this is Volume 1. And it lists the cartoons there, which you probably can't make out. This is release 32 BS. Okay, Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck Cartoon Collections, Volume 3. It is a 3, right? Not a 5? Yeah. This is release 37 BS. And finally, for this video, because I have other Disney Betamax ads to do. Goofy Over Sports. For sale only, not intended for rental. Okay, this is release 44 BS. Until next time, stay awesome.